Welcome, Flyers fans. You're listening to Chris Mayer, Flyers Fan Mania 93 on YouTube.
All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today I am back with another video here. So, in the last couple of days, if you've seen, I put a tweet out yesterday, essentially of a opening night lineup that I created, and essentially what I was thinking the opening night lineup will be, come this October. Now, obviously, it's July 21st, and there's a lot of time, and a lot of different things that could change for this roster. The Flyers could, they said that they were done for right now. They could go out and do something. So I am essentially banking on the fact that they will be done. But, if you're just looking at the lineup in general, right, I think there's a lot of different things of, obviously the Flyers are banking on a lot going into this year. So you essentially, number one, you have everybody coming back healthy, okay? Your number one and number two center, Couturier and Hayes, they're both, coming off of injury. So there's that. Number two, you're banking on a lot of younger players to step up, guys like Tippett, guys like Frost, Noah Cates. Number three, you're kind of essentially hoping that the defense is going to work out because you're essentially putting D'Angelo with Provorov. That's essentially who it seems like Provy is going to be playing with this year. And obviously the bottom two pairs, I personally think that they're fine. And then number four, you're also banking on essentially it's going to be a goaltending battle in camp. So you have Carter Hart obviously with a starter, and then you have Sandstrom and Tony Grosenick, who the Flyers signed. Those will essentially be two camp battles right there, just for guys alone to make the team. So this training camp is going to be a lot, right? So I put this lineup out the other day, and to me, it seemed like there was a good amount of stuff in there that I don't know. It seemed like a lot of people agree with majority. I think some people disagreed on certain spots of who could play where and everything. But obviously the Flyers don't have Joel Farabee in the beginning. So this is the graphic on the screen here, and I made this a couple days ago. My first line is Owen Tippett, Sean Couturier, and Travis Konecny. Now the reason I have this as the first line is essentially, I like the idea of having a shooter on the top line. I do. And I like Konecny playing that right side. I think that's fine. If you wanted to switch Tippett and Konecny and have Tippett on the right wing, for the right shot coming down the right wing, or if you want the right shot coming in the left wing, you could do either or. I'm perfectly fine with switching the sides of the two. But, outside of this, I feel like Tippett could be the guy that does get that number one spot there on the left wing. I would give it, some people were probably asking, why wouldn't you give it to Frost or maybe Lawton or somebody else? Like, I kind of feel like, again, having the idea of having a shooter and also spreading it out. You don't want to have just like a whole top line, because this Flyers lineup has talent, but it doesn't have anybody that's going to replace like a Giroux type points or anything like that. So you want to be able to spread everything out. So I feel like having a shooter on that left side and a guy like Tippett who can drive play. He's pretty speedy. He's not horrible defensively. He's pretty average in that area. And obviously Couturier, when healthy, is one of the best two-way centers in the National Hockey League. So, and you mixing that with the Konecny, I think that could be fine. As for the second line, I have Morgan Frost with Kevin Hayes and Cam Atkinson. Again, having Hayes in second line, that's fine. I'm personally okay with that, because I feel like, at first I was like, maybe they need a center. I was thinking that for a while. They needed another center. They needed a play driving center. But, when you have, if you could mix in a play driving winger on that type side, and if say Hayes isn't, going well in the circle or anything like that, then you could, throw Frost in there, for example. Again, Atkinson, second line, I think everybody's fine with that. So people could probably put Atkinson up on the first line if they wanted. But again, I feel like Hayes is fine there. And Frost, I mean, I really liked how Frost ended the season. I feel like he's going to be one of the more better Flyers to play this year. In my opinion, that is one guy I'm hoping that definitely picks it up from the where he ended off last year. He played really well on that line with him in the middle, Noah Cates, and Tippett on his wings. But again, I mean, the points weren't there, but Frost has the tools. I've talked about that many times, and I feel like that if you're looking at it right now, he is the guy that I slip in, and I don't like keeping him at center. I feel like it's essentially kind of ruining his game. He said exit day, he doesn't even know where he's going to play next year, so it seems like it's going to be, towards trying to figure that out. I would keep him at wing. I feel like he's more dynamic there. It's less of a it's less responsibility on his role, essentially, where you're not, banking on so much of him, because you are banking on a lot. So that might ease off the pressure of him, so where he might be able to go out and play his game, and not feel like he has to do too many things. So I think that could be fine for Frost. And my third line is James Van Riemsdyk, like with Scott Lawton and Noah Cates. I personally think Noah Cates is an NHL player. I thought that towards the end of the year. I feel like he is the guy that makes it out of camp. Out of any of the guys that played last year, whether it was, Brink, Ronnie Adder, Noah Cates, all the guys that got called up, Cates was by far, to me, the most impressive out of all of them. So I think he's an NHL player. I think Scott Lawton at the third line center is fine, and JVR I think is fine. There was a talk the other day that, um, you know, could JVR be in the top six role because of his, trying to get something out of the deadline for him. I think that could be the case. If you wanted, then you could throw either Frost down to the third line, or if you wanted, you could maybe switch up a couple things from the first line and maybe move JVR up one, maybe move Tippett down a little bit. But right now, I feel like JVR to start the season is probably going to play on the third line. That's just how I see it. And the fourth line, as crazy as it sounds, there's actually a lot of competition for this fourth line. You have, Delorier, Brown, and McEwen, right? Who McEwen, he elected for salary arbitration. And again, Frost, like I just mentioned as well, he also signed a 1 year deal worth 800,000. So that's like a show me deal. A lot of these guys, so McEwen gets arbitration, and I feel like that's fine for McEwen. I don't blame him. Essentially, the Flyers just signed back 4 years with no trade. That's essentially not took his role, but it's another person to his role. So I feel like that's perfectly acceptable for McEwen to do that. And then you have Patrick Brown in the middle. So I kind of view it as, you have Delorier, Brown, McEwen, but then you also could have a fourth line of Ratcliffe, Legzinski, and Allison if you wanted to go a different route. So you have like six guys that are competing for a spot, on this Flyers team. And obviously I feel like Delorier is good. I would at least right now pencil him in to be on the opening night roster. Everybody else, though, you really could, shoe in. Obviously, the Flyers signed McEwen, or excuse me, they signed Ratcliffe. McEwen was arbitration. They get Ratcliffe, sign him to a 1 year deal worth 800,000 or so and change. So again, there's going to be a battle there for that fourth line. I'm very curious to see how that works out. I feel like they could use Ratcliffe more. Again, I like Legzinski. If you wanted, you put Brown in the AHL, and Tanner Legzinski could be the fourth line center going in next year. I really do like Legzinski. I feel like he should be playing over Nate Thompson towards the end of the year. And again, there's nothing against Thompson. I completely understand why he was playing because of the injury. And I like Thompson a lot. But Allison is another guy. If he's healthy, he can come in. Again, we know the skill Allison has. We know the kid can bang. It just, he has to stay healthy, and that's the thing. I don't know how many minutes I would give him to start off the year. I think they try to ease him into it, but maybe I'm wrong. But as for the defense, again, I feel like it's pretty self-standard at this point. Provorov, D'Angelo, Sanheim, Ristolainen, York, and Braun. And that's my deep pairings. And then your seventh defenseman is probably Nick Seeler. And then you have Kevin Connaughton, who's on a 2-year two-way deal. So Connaughton will probably be getting some time with Lehigh Valley and the Flyers as well. But as for, obviously, the goaltenders, right, you have Carter Hart, you have Sandstrom, who played 5 games. Again, a sample size. I don't think I'm ready to give Sandstrom that role right away. But again, we're going to have to see. Again, it's not that I don't think Sandstrom's talented. It's not that I don't think he's a good goaltender. It's just he only played 5 games last year on a very bad team. He didn't get a single win, and that wasn't his fault at all. He really wasn't given a chance in any of the games. I believe the Flyers got shut out in 2 of the games he played. But again, alone, you have Grosenick then, who, if nobody knows Tony Grosenick, the Flyers signed him recently. And this past year, again, he only has 4 NHL games played, but in those 4 games, he's again a 227 goals against average and a 933 save percentage. Again, it's only 4 games, and two of the 4 were played back in 2014-15 with San Jose, and then he played 2 games last year in the 2020-21 season with the LA Kings, where he had a 300 goals average and a 922 save percentage in 2 games. But this past year with Providence, he played 30 games. Providence was one of the better teams in the AHL. He had a 2.00 goals against average, 933 save percentage. And then the playoffs, he played 2 games, a 168 goals against average and a 939 save percentage. So he has some pretty good numbers. Obviously, all at the pretty much at the American League level. Excuse me. But he is a guy that, again, you have to look for in camp. He could make the team, and kind of see how it goes, because then you could have Sandstrom down in high value to start the year. And again, all of this is also bearing injury for the Flyers as well. So let me know what you guys think below on this. And just a couple things here too as well coming up. Tomorrow is my show, episode 7 of FFM 93 Live from 1 to 2 o'clock. I have Noah Cates joining. I'll be doing an interview with him beforehand, and then I'll play that on the show. And then I also have Bill Meltzer joining as well. And another thing for that, again, obviously I've been picking up a lot of subscribers and followers recently, and if you're new to the channel, new to this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. And also, if you want, you can call into the show. You can call 267-939-1216 and leave a message, and I will play it on the show. One other thing as well, because the YouTube channel now, if you go on, there is now the store function, which is also now connected to my merchandise store, which has the t-shirts and the hoodies for the regular channel logo, which is just the FFM93 logo, and then the FFM93 Live logo. If you want to, pick out one of them yourself, you can. So that is now on the channel as well. And again, I can't make any of that stuff or do any of that stuff without you watching, so I really do appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think below on your Flyers opening day lineup. And again, all of this is obviously surrounded by the Farabee injury. So when Farabee goes back, obviously things will be different. But again, let me know what you guys think below. I will talk to you all again soon.